The oil and gas industry has traditionally been a budget-generating industry for Russia. In 2023, the sale of energy resources brought the Russian treasury a third of its income. But after European countries refused Russian gas and China was reluctant to increase fuel exports from Russia, the monopoly giant Gazprom suffered incredible losses. To compensate for the company's losses, the Russian authorities raised tariffs for the domestic market to a record level over the past 11 years by more than 11%. According to experts, Gazprom is now trying to expand its production, but it will not be able to return to its previous earnings.
They lose specialists, schools, the Gubkin Institute, and so on. This has always been 20% of the federal budget, but for many regional cities it was 100% of the budget. Now they have only two options for now to develop. The first option is to build gas chemical complexes and develop those complexes they have. And the second option is to gasify the villages and cities of Russia. Both require huge financial investments.
Things are not so catastrophic in the Russian LNG market if during the 2 years of the war the volumes of Russian pipeline gas exports to the EU decreased 3 times, then LNG supplies remained at pre-war levels. However, the volumes of liquefied gas exports are not comparable with supplies through the pipeline. Despite the fact that Europe is the main buyer of Russian LNG, its exports last year amounted to only 20 billion cubic meters. This is 10 times less than pipeline supplies in 2021.
The situation with the import of liquefied natural gas from Russia is now quite controversial. On the one hand, some countries, in anticipation of the imposition of sanctions, are trying to maximize profits in the time remaining.
By 2030, Moscow wants to triple LNG production, but the Western sanctions will not allow it to do this. Over the past 6 months, the United States and the European Union have imposed a number of restrictions on this industry. They relate to a ban on re-export, as well as technological cooperation with large LNG projects. As a result, the largest liquefied gas producer in Russia, Novatek, froze its most ambitious project, Arctic LNG 2. According to experts, the biggest problems now are with high-tech components and chips for transporting LNG.
The Russians cannot build a gas liquefaction plant themselves without external contractors. It is impossible. Plus, they cannot build gas tankers themselves at all. The industry monopolist. Samsung Heavy Industries from South Korea. Besides them, there are very few people who can make such tankers. These are very complex and rather unique vessels. And after all, the United States imposed sanctions against Arctic 2 last November. Samsung suspended relations with Russia on this project.
Moscow wants to replace difficulties with LNG exports to European countries with supplies to China. In February 2024, Novatek opened its office in Beijing. Natural Gas World publication, citing its sources, reports that the company was able to sell 75,000 tons to Chinese buyers in April. But according to the publication, due to the lack of alternatives of Russians, clients from China agreed to such deals only under the pretext of huge discounts, which is why Russian importers receive very little profit. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.